and the butterfly.
Hi guys, happy summer. I kind of took a break after finishing my last dollhouse. Lately I've really been wanting a granny square dress, and I've only really crocheted a few times in the past. I did consider crocheting a bunch of granny squares, but I just don't think I have the patience for that. And I was in the thrift store a few weeks ago, and as soon as I walked in, this blanket caught my eye. It does have some damage in the middle. I think there's one other square that has damage on it too. But I just love all the colors in it, and I love the black border. So I am going to attempt to make hopefully a dress out of this if there's enough material for it. If not, I'll make a skirt probably. It would also make like a really nice cardigan. And I think there's about 96 squares in this. And from what I read, it takes about a half hour to knit a granny square, maybe 20 minutes if you're advanced. And that's just too many hours. It's too many hours for me. So I think this is a great alternative. It was only $5. So I've seen this done a few different ways. The granny squares would have just been crocheted individually and then crocheted together. So there should be a piece of yarn connecting all of the squares that I can take out. But I just feel like it will be very boxy if I try to make a dress based on just the squares. I might attempt to cut into the squares and then sew them together. I've seen a few people do it. I'm a little nervous. I really don't want it to fall apart. So fingers crossed. So it's quite large, but this square is almost in the middle of the blanket, which is going to make it a little more complicated for me to get two equal dress patterns for front and back. So I may actually have to end up cutting some of these in strips and then sewing them together. Okay, so this is sort of what I have going right now. I'm going to do sort of like a little peplum type skirt. So I just have 4 squares down going the entire length of the blanket. So I'm going to sew that up, and I think I'll just do a stretchy waistband to cinch it all together. I'm probably gonna have to modify it a million times, but I'd rather start off with more than enough and then just have to cut off the excess than to not have enough. So this will be the back, this is gonna be the front, and I think that this leftover piece I'm going to turn into some sleeves. This is the finished top. I really love it. It's not actually as boxy as I thought it was going to be. There's a little bit of stretch to it. So the front piece ended up being a 4x3 panel, and the back piece I did 4x4 because I wanted it to be a bit higher in the back. And then for the straps, I just have 2 with a little bit of the scallop edging. And I just stepped out to get some elastic waist cord, and I doubled it up, and it's gonna be the width of the top, and that's what I'm going to sew the skirt onto. And this is what it looks like with that elastic band added. It just kind of scrunches it up a bit. Now it's time to attach the two. Okay, I am so in love with how this turned out. It's definitely a bit see-through, so you want to wear something underneath it. But I was thinking that it was going to be so bulky. It's actually not too bad. I did end up having to take in the sides a little bit because I just found that it was kind of frumpy if I left it the way that it was. And it definitely gives me like disco vibes. There's been some roller disco events going on around town that I've been thinking about going to, and this would probably be the perfect dress to wear. And you definitely don't need a sewing machine to do this. It just sped up the process quite a bit. I went over the seams twice just to make sure they're really secure, but I do not foresee this coming apart because trying to take the yarn apart by hand was so hard. I think this has been washed a million times, so the yarn is pretty tight. I think this is great for like a cool summer day, but I also think that it's gonna be perfect in fall with like a black turtleneck and leggings. And I don't know, I'm just so happy about it. Hope you guys like it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a colorful day.